Hey, Stronghold listeners. Hey, I thought I'd share a little bit about the DEF reset. So, the discipline equals freedom reset. What is it? I'm just going to run through how I'm planning it for myself. This isn't something that I needed to go into a lot of detail with, but I did want to kind of personalize it. There is a website, there's a free app this year, which you can track your progress and be in community with other people doing the DEF reset. Again, this is going to run January 1st through January 31st, and you can really start at any time. You can start earlier, later. But ideally, this community that I'll be kind of guiding through and sharing content on will start the DEF reset January 1st and complete it on January 31st. So when you're going into the DEF reset, what is it? Well, it's every day you're going to be doing 8 habits. They call them the 8 essential discipline equals freedom habits. And the I think the objective in it is to get in the habit of, for lack of a better term, of doing things that help you become a better version of yourself on a daily basis. And this will involve getting out of a lot of old bad habits. And so, just running through the habits really quick. The first one, and I'll kind of mention what I'm doing for each. The first one is up before the enemy. And if you follow Jocko, that's something that he does. He posts a picture of his watch on his social media every day, and it's like something like 4:34 in the morning. He captures his watch and the time he wakes up. Well, up before the enemy for me is Naka before 34. I am a circadian rhythm type guy, meaning I do best when I wake up around the time the sun comes up. Now, there's some exceptions in summer, when it's a little warmer, is an exception to that. And when I'm out road biking to start endurance training season. But when there is 6 inches of snow outside, it's freezing cold in Minnesota. I am a circadian rhythm type guy. So on some days, I'm going to be waking up with sunset. So I think that's around like 7:45 a.m. right now. But there are days when I go to jujitsu Monday, Wednesday, Friday to make my schedule work right now. I'm going to have to be the morning jujitsu guy. Yes, I'm one of those scary people getting up at 5 a.m. to go roll around with a bunch of other guys, as my wife would say, or the high school wrestling team, as I would call it, and get beat up early in the morning. So on those days, I'm going to be getting up at 5 a.m. And then I have men's coffee, which I lead on Tuesday mornings. I'm going to be getting up at 5 a.m. then. So maybe I am turning into Jocko a little bit, but that is the first habit. That's called up before the enemy. Now, getting after it is the second habit. So get after it. And you hear Jocko say that. It's a good way to just get a mindset of like, whatever it is, I'm going to get after it. I'm going to tackle it. So for the program, that is what type of workout you'll be doing. So the workout plan that I'm going to be doing about midpoint January is a 34 kids workout. Now that could be like walking, rucking, running, burpees, there's squats, there's all kinds of 5 workouts. If you check out the 34 Kids program and website, and please do, the link is actually in my Instagram bio, and I'll put it in the YouTube content as well so you can find it. It's a great way to help kids and get active as well. I'll be completing that mid-January. In addition to that, I mentioned I'm going to jujitsu. I'm going to try to be going on walks with my wife and getting outside because I do not get out nearly enough this time of year. Be going on rocks outside. Be lifting 3 to 4 days a week, and I'll be sharing some of those lifting programs with some of the tier 1 members, the guys I'm working with directly in community, and I'll also try to post those on my social media as well. And then I'm also going to be swimming. Swimming is a deficiency that I have that I need to fix and make not a deficiency before triathlon season this year so that I can kick some ass in those triathlons. That's one goal for me in 2025. All right. So now we're to the third. So prioritize and execute. And another way to say this is, how am I going to focus on prioritizing my top 3 daily tasks? So prioritize and execute, one of those DEF reset habits, is about identifying the top 3 things that you have to do every day. I'm going to tackle this by being intentional with my time. What does that mean? I'm not going to put 3 things on my list that I have to execute on for that day, that if I added up the total time, the amount of meetings that I might have at work, the commitments that I have with my family, friends, community, that I don't have the time to even achieve. I'm setting myself up for failure. I refuse to do that. So the way I'm going to do my top 3 daily tasks, again, that is the third habit of prioritize and execute, is I'm going to write them down. And I'm going to understand what my day looks like for the next day. So the night before, I'm going to write them down, what the top 3 are, and I'm going to make sure that I can even fit them in the day. If there's garbage I can get out of the day to make them happen, great. If they can't happen in the day, then I'm pushing one of those three to the next day and replacing it with another that's achievable in its entirety. The fourth, hydrate. This is a simple one, and this fits with kind of the core four principles that, as a Legionnaire for first form, that I will be evangelizing. It's drink 100 ounces of water. Drink 100 ounces of water. I feel better. I'm satiated. I'm hydrated. My body has the kind of the building blocks and materials to help itself rebuild and just power and fuel throughout the day. Good fuel, transitioning into that. Another core four principle that I follow as a Legionnaire with first form is 1 gram of protein for every ideal pound of body fat. So for me, that is 195 pounds. That's what I want to walk around at. That's what I want to compete in jiu-jitsu at or under. And so I'm going to try to stay as close to that 195 pounds throughout the year as I can. I feel the best when I'm at 195 pounds. So translate it into that fifth habit of good fuel. Good fuel to me is going to be getting 1 gram per every pound of ideal body fat. So 195 grams of protein ideally each day. I'm going to source that through whole food sources to start with. I eat a lot of steak. I eat a lot of red meat. I go to salmon. I go to chicken, to eggs. And we'll work it in and then supplement from there. And I'll have suggestions of what I supplement as we go along in the process on my social media and in some YouTube videos as well. The sixth is sugar-coated lies. So which foods am I going to stay away from? Well, sweets. And I would tell you what, this time of year, I am not staying away from those. I get fudge this time of year from my sister-in-law, and I love fudge. So I'm creating a little bit more output on the workouts to compensate for it. But January 1st, it's going away. There's going to be no sweets. Another thing that is easily avoidable for me, and this is a killer for a lot of people, is bread. It's just carbs I don't need. It's just like a vehicle to deliver the things in the sandwich. So I'm just going to have the things in the sandwich and eliminate the bread for the month of January. And then I'm also going to probably carry that forward into my 75 hard food and diet challenge. All right. Seventh one, back to the book. This is a fun one. So I know a lot of people out there will say, well, I'm not really a reader. Well, back to the book is a way to educate yourself. And if you want to be audio, fine. But I'm going to really encourage you to get a physical book in front of you and get in the habit of reading. It's been the biggest blessing in my life. Some people refer to me as a sage in wisdom. And I tell you what, the secret, read. That's it. I'm not that intelligent. Kind of in that realm of academia, but I read, and there's a lot of good content out there, and there's a lot of varieties. So find something you like. If you are anyone, I would say if you haven't read Endurance by Alfred Lansing, I've thrown out to a lot of people, and they've said that's gotten me back into reading. So that's a good suggestion. And then I would say I'm going to do 20 pages. So if that's 10 pages for you a day that you want to goal for, then make it 10 pages. If you're already reading more than that, keep that up. For me, it's going to be 20 pages. I find that I really have to kind of adjust my lifestyle and be conscious of when and where I'm reading. If I try to do it at the end of the day, I fall asleep. So what I do, pro tip here from completing this 2 years in a row and doing 75 hard, I take my book with me, because you'd be surprised how many times in life you find yourself in a waiting room, waiting for something, with a lull. And what do? We grab our phone and we doom scroll. So replace that with your book. Easy way to accomplish that one. The final DEF reset habit, so there's 8 of them, is remember. And I love this one. The easiest way to kind of explain this is, how will you show your gratitude each day? For me, that's a prayer list. I literally carry around a list of people that have either asked me to pray for them or their situation or their loved ones, or people that I am just praying for because I see where they're at in life and I believe in the power of prayer. So to do the final habit, again, remember, I'm going to have that prayer list in place. One thing I also try to do to show gratitude and just be intentional with the relationships in my life is I try to replace the quick text with a quick phone call occasionally. Not just reaching out to ask how someone is, in 120 characters or less in a text, or just replying with an emoji, but actually reaching out to them and having that either face to face, if it's a visit, or a phone call, to kind of just be a little bit more intentional with the relationships in my life. So I think that sounds exciting. Like, those are things you probably do components that already in your life and you're really good at them. But if you start January 2025 with those 8 habits, you will be a better version of yourself on January 31st. And that's the whole point. That's what I hope to bring Stronghold listeners along on the journey of and exploration of bettering themselves and becoming better versions of themselves for their own selves, for their loved ones, family, friends, communities. So if that sounds good, join me on the Def Reset. Love you all. And until then, if this is before Christmas, have a very Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.